Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jen. I'm a 2023 destination wedding bride. I got married on February 2nd, 2023 at Dreams Playa Mujeres in Cancun, Mexico. So in creating this channel, one of the reasons that I created this channel was because when I first started thinking about a destination wedding, I would Google or YouTube like everything that I could. I was constantly looking for videos. I was looking for new videos. I was looking for old videos. I was on the Facebook group for Dreams Playa Mujeres, and I would just read every single review. I would try to get every little detail that I could. I was really obsessed, actually. And especially when deciding on where to have my wedding. That was the biggest thing in the beginning, was where am I going to have this? I know I want it to be Mexico, but how do I know? I'm not one to travel, so I had like, Mexico was the first time that I'd ever been out of the country. So I didn't know a single thing. And actually, I ended up picking Dreams from a YouTube video. So in wanting to give back to future brides as other brides gave back to me, I wanted to create this channel. So today I kind of want to go over some things like to expect and kind of go through the timeline, right? So number one, first and foremost, if I could go back and do it all over again, if I could talk to my past self, I would tell myself, like, you will never regret having a destination wedding. So if you were even just thinking about it, like even slightly, I would 100% do it. I would do it all over again. I tell everyone that gets engaged now, do a destination wedding. You want to do a destination wedding. A destination wedding is the best way to go. And the reason is because, I still have family that is talking about it. And we're, what, almost 2 years, no, a year and a half later, like, people come up to us constantly at family functions and say that we had one of the best weddings ever. They had so much fun. And it's because it wasn't just one day. It was 4 days, 5 days, 7 days, depending on how long you stayed. For us, it was 12 days, right? Like, there was just so much, like, I really got to enjoy the time with my guests. So one of the things that I think brides go through is, well, some people can't afford that. And no, you're right. They can't afford it, some of them. And that is definitely a hard pill to swallow. That is something that I struggled with a little bit, where there was a couple people that I really wish would have come. And then unfortunately, just last second decided that they couldn't because financially it just didn't make sense for them. And that is one thing about being a destination wedding bride, is that you do need to realize that people have lives and not everyone is as excited as you are for your own wedding. And that, I feel like, is something that doesn't get talked about enough. Is you're excited, you're engaged, you're getting married, like, you're planning a wedding, you're having a bachelorette party, or you're having a bridal shower and all these things, and you're so excited for it because honestly you've been to countless other ones for everyone else, right? That you just expect that people will be as excited as you are about your wedding. And that, well, yes, I definitely have people that were excited. I think that I was just way more excited because it's my own wedding. So that is one thing that I think does not get talked about enough, is the feeling that you're excited and people aren't, or they're not sharing in your excitement. They're excited. They're going to have a great time. It is going to be about you essentially for that week. But leading up to it, just know that people, like, some people have kids and some people have jobs. Well, most people have jobs, and they have to take off from that job, or they have to take off from school. And there's just like different things that are going through their minds. And it's not so much about, it's not something to take personally, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. So I want to kind of go over, like, timeline wise, because I actually talked with a bride, I think it was a month a month or two before my wedding, and she was a past bride, and she found me on the Facebook group and she messaged me, and I asked her so many questions, like so many questions, to the point where I literally said, I was like, if you just want to block me, I totally get it. So I mean, there were so many questions that I had, right? I was asking her what her decor looked like. I told her that I didn't really want to go above and beyond on the decor because I felt like the resort was the decor. And she completely agreed with me. She showed me pictures from her wedding. And she was actually the one that suggested that I do the water drum show as opposed to doing the fire show. And she did say, she said, listen, if you are staying for a few days, the resort does a fire show in the garden, like the central garden, every so many days. So you're kind of already going to get that. So what they don't do is a water drum show. So if you are thinking about doing any kind of entertainment, I do recommend doing the water drum show. And I am so glad that I listened to her because she was completely right. I saw the fire show probably 6 or 7 times in the 12 days that we were there. And I don't think I saw any other wedding do the water drum show. So if you are thinking about entertainment, I mean, you could take what I just said with a grain of salt, or, you could just be like, hey, I really want the fire, but just know that you actually don't have to pay for the other show. If you were to just get the water drum show and then, basically see the fire show for free. That's, if you're looking at both, you could do that as well. So one of the questions that I had was, I did not want to pay for a welcome party. So I had an unofficial welcome party, and I was asking her, like, did she have one? And she absolutely had one. It was also unofficial. And she said I had it at the hotel lobby bar. So I basically planned the same thing. So just know that if you don't want to pay for a welcome party, you can have an unofficial welcome party, and then you can make up an itinerary for people, like a welcome letter, essentially. That's another thing. I did not realize how beneficial the welcome letter would be, because I didn't have to go and send millions of texts or anything else like that. It was just in their welcome bags, and they could see exactly when things were supposed to happen, at what time they were supposed to happen, and where they were supposed to be. Now, here is another thing. The expectation, just know that people are paying for this, right? So let them use it as a vacation. Don't have 1,000 things planned out, because honestly, some of them just won't come. And that was another thing that I think, the expectation that because I had planned it, that everyone would come, and that's actually not what happened. So just know that it's also a vacation for them as well. But what you can expect is the lobby bar, I believe, is open until I want to say 1 o'clock in the morning. So we just all met at the lobby bar. It was just like a welcome party. I got to see everyone, say hi, because people were flying in at different times. And it just so happened that the night that I planned it, the Central Garden was having like a little barbecue thing, like festival thing. Actually, there were fire dancers that night. And there's a bar right there. So, and it's, when you're coming in the lobby, it's going to be to the right. There's also some sitting area to the left as well. But it's a really, really nice bar. Actually, my husband got pictures taken on our wedding day in there, and they came out so cool. I love them so much. And I'll put a picture up so you can kind of see it. And I will put a picture up of some of the welcome party photos that we got. We didn't take very many. But it was just like a 2-hour thing. You could come say hi. I wasn't expecting you to stay. You could get a drink because, the bar is right there. And then you kind of just go your separate ways. But it was ultimately for us, myself and my husband, to just see everyone as they came in. So rehearsal. I want to talk about the rehearsal and what to expect. So I did not want to go overboard on the rehearsal, as what I mean by that is meaning the decor. So I had the Beyond Memorable package. So we actually The rehearsal dinner was included in our package. So something that I did expect that did not. So I thought that all of our guests were actually included in the rehearsal, and I did not realize that it was only 30 people. So between my bridal party and our parents, I end up just inviting another aunt and uncle because we had 54 people go to Mexico. So I just felt weird inviting 30 and then leaving like 20 people out. I just didn't like it. So I essentially just did my bridal party, the parents, and then I invited an aunt and uncle. And it ended up working out great because they had 3 tables set up. You get your own like private bar. They have this huge, make sure that your guests like come hungry because they have this huge buffet. And they asked me if I wanted to add lights, if I wanted to add, stuff on like the tables, and I didn't. Like, now they did have these like Mexican like table runners like on the table. That was great. That's all I needed because it was just my bridal party, and I didn't really want it. It was just essentially just to have rehearsal. Now, one thing I will say is that if there is a wedding going on during your rehearsal, you will not obviously be able to rehearse at the beach gazebo or wherever else you are getting married. So just keep that in mind that your wedding coordinator will essentially like kind of put you off into like a certain area so that you can practice. But just know that if a wedding is going on during your rehearsal, it essentially won't be at the actual location. And the rehearsal starts about a half hour before your rehearsal dinner, depending on how large your bridal party is. Mine was not that big. I had 5 on each side. 5. Yeah, I think 5. So then after the rehearsal, if you watched my other videos, you know that we did a bonfire on the beach, and that also was a last minute ad. And I'm pretty sure it was because I talked to that other bride and she had mentioned something about doing the bonfire on the beach. I feel like if I remember correctly, she definitely mentioned it. And we decided to add it last second, and probably was the highlight, besides my wedding, obviously, of the just like the trip. Like, it was just so nice to like hang out on the beach. Once again, you have your own private bar. They give you a whole buffet of desserts. There's a fire. They put pillows out. Like, there's so many different things. They put lights out. Like, that's where I wanted to spend my money essentially. So just know that that's what's to expect for the bonfire on the beach. Now let's talk about the big day. Now, this timeline all kind of depends on 1, your photographer, 2, your hair and makeup, and what time you are getting married. So depending also on the time of year it is. So I originally wanted to get married, I believe my original time was at 6:30. But my photographer actually said, I also got married in February, and she said, just so you know, at 6:30 it is dark. Didn't realize that. And I'm an East Coast girl, so I should know that, right? But so she's like, we're going to actually want to back that up probably about 2 hours. So my ceremony started at I believe 4:30. So then you have to kind of backtrack. So if you have the Beyond Memorable package, you will drop off your dress and your groom's attire when you meet with your wedding coordinator, which is normally about 2 days before your wedding, depending on when you get into the resort. We were there 3 days, I believe 3 days before our wedding. So we met with Marcella. We went to the office. We were told to bring whatever decor we had brought and our wedding attire, because as part of the Beyond Memorable package, they press the groom's attire and they also steam your dress. Now, my dress did not need to be steamed, but my veil 100% did. And they like pressed out my veil, which was like awesome, and it totally worked out. So that morning, they will drop off your dress to you. one of the things that I didn't realize is like if you wanted there to be like breakfast or anything for your bridesmaids or your groomsmen, if you don't pay extra, you essentially will need to order room service. And what we did is we just had multiple times of room service just because I didn't want to pay for a huge big breakfast thing. Because I'm pretty sure it was like $20 plus tax per person. And honestly, the day of my wedding, I didn't even eat, which is, I would just like, I don't know if it was my nerves. I just could not eat anything. Obviously, I did eat something small, but I just, like, the beginning of our trip, I don't know why I just could not eat. I was like, I think I was just so nervous. But after that, I could, obviously chow down. If you want like mimosas or anything else like that, send your girls essentially. I had all the girls come to my room because that's where we got ready. And I had my outside vendors come. I believe everyone showed up at like 8:15. And we had between myself and then my girls, that was 6 girls that needed to be done, plus my mother-in-law, plus my mom for hair and makeup. So essentially they got there at 8:15 and we were done by 12:30, and then my photographer and videographer was there at 12:45, and then we were getting photos at 1, did a first look and family photos and everything else so that we were ready in time for the ceremony at 4:30. So if that gives you like a better timeline of like how to plan out your things. Now your photographer is ultimately going to be the one that's going to kind of tell you like how things need to go. Hopefully they'll tell you if they're from Cancun and they've done this before. If not, hopefully that gives you a little bit of a gist of what your timeline should be. So 8:15 we started getting ready. We were done by 12:45, dresses. We did photos of the bridal party. I also had 2 separate photographers and videographers. So they were with my husband and then they were with me as well. We did a first look. I'm pretty sure we did the first look at like 2:30. Then did family photos and then we were ready to go by 4:30. The ceremony essentially for us was only like 20 minutes, I think. Then they give you like champagne afterwards, and then you have cocktail hour. We did a sunset like photo shoot, just the 2 of us. And I ended up missing cocktail hour, which I'm like, that, I guess that is my one regret. Just know that like time goes like very quickly. So I did miss like the mariachi band, which I was kind of upset about. But at the same time, I was able to see the mariachi band with other weddings that were going on later in the week. So I didn't miss that much. I did get to see like 1 or 2 songs at the end. But if you are someone that has to bustle your dress, just know that that takes more than 5 minutes that I allotted. I did not realize how many buttons I had. So I think if I were to do that again, I probably would have seen if I could back up the cocktail hours essentially to start just like maybe an hour after the ceremony instead of like a half hour after the ceremony. But you get an hour for cocktail hour, obviously. And then the reception was 3 hours, I believe, which once again goes by really quick. So things that we eliminated so that we could just get to dancing. We just had 2 speeches. That was it. We did not do a bouquet toss. We did not do a garter toss thing. I don't like that. And so then it was essentially cocktail hour. We went right in. They did speeches. We ate, which we did the barbecue buffet, which I thought was really good. In hindsight, I wish I would have done something like tacos or something, but I once again thought that everyone was going to be included for the rehearsal dinner where I did a taco bar. So I kind of messed that up. I really kind of wish I would have done tacos for my entire group. But the barbecue was really good, don't get me wrong. Then right after that, we did father-daughter, our first dance, and then the parents' dance. And then we did the water drum show, which then opened up essentially the dance floor. If you are someone that gets the photo booth, just know that that is off to the side. And I feel like a lot of people like didn't really see it. So I kind of wish that would have been a little bit closer. Maybe it would have been used a little bit more. And then the bar sits off to the back of the DJ too. And then after that, we went to, after the like reception part was over, we went to Spin Nightclub, which is right under the lobby bar essentially. There's like 3 levels. And it's kind of like a club essentially. And that was like a lot of fun. And they play music, I want to say till like 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, I also did not change out of my wedding dress. I thought if I spent that much money on a dress, I was going to wear it all night long because I'll never put it back on again, I guess. Maybe my daughter will. So if that gives you a kind of like a timeline of what to expect, if there are specific questions, like I know that a lot has changed on the budget planner because I'm hearing from a lot of brides that like prices have changed. The package, like the ultimate package apparently doesn't even exist anymore. But if you send me what you're thinking about, or if you have questions, like I love hearing from you guys. Like I have a couple brides that have reached out. They had questions. Oh, they had questions about the beach. So let me just go back to that. So she had asked me what, how was the beach essentially? Was it noisy? Was it, windy? Now we did luck out. We had the perfect weather. It was not windy. It was not hot. It was like, and it's like, that was just my day. And then the day after, I feel bad because I know the bride and groom and they had a lot of wind and I'm pretty sure it rained during their ceremony. So if there is a chance of weather, expect that your wedding coordinator will come in to have you sign a waiver. And the waiver basically says that if you continue with the wedding outside and it were to rain and any of their stuff was to get damaged, you essentially pay for the damages. There was I want to say it was like 2 to 5% chance of rain on my wedding day. Marcella came in as I was getting ready and she said, I need you to sign this. And I was like, I'm having my wedding outside. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. But she said, I've looked at the weather. It's like a 2 to 5% chance. Now it did sprinkle during, my photos before the first look and I was freaking out. But my photographer, apparently there's like this old myth that if you stick a knife in the ground, the rain goes away. So she went and grabbed a knife and stuck it in the ground and the rain went away. But she was joking. She was like, don't look outside. I was like trying to grab my phone, trying to see what the weather was. She's like, you're not looking at your phone. It's fine. Like, I'm telling you, it's not supposed to rain. I'm like looking at this dark cloud and she was just like, it's a passing cloud. That's it. But just know that if it is supposed to rain on your wedding day, Marcella will come in or your wedding coordinator will come in to have you sign a waiver. And I signed it because, like I said, I was getting married outside. But back to the beach. It to me, I felt like we were the only ones on the beach. I did not feel like there was a resort full of people. I did not feel that there was a tiki bar next to us. Marcella did a very, and all your wedding coordinators do a very good job about making sure that no one walks in behind your photos. So you just get a clear picture of the beach. Also, when you are doing pictures on the beach, she also follows you to make sure that no one is getting behind you in your pictures as well, which was really, really nice. So they do a really, really good job of making sure that you get your time on the beach, especially with how much money you've spent. Also, keep in mind, Dreams Playa Mujeres is known for weddings. So almost all of the people there are there for a wedding. I mean, yeah, obviously there's some people that are there for vacation and people just try to be respectful. They know that either they've already had their wedding or 2, they're about to have their wedding and they would want the same respect that, they gave you essentially. So just keep that in mind. I would not worry about a beach wedding. I never pictured myself ever having a beach wedding. And now I can't picture not having a beach wedding. So I 100% recommend that. So now I can wrap this up. So if there is a specific question, whether you've looked at my budget planner, on my how much did my wedding cost video, or maybe you have a question about my travel agent, my transportation, my anything I've chosen to like decor wise or anything else like that, please send me an email or comment down below. I do try and get back to all of the emails and comments as quickly as I can. I do have a 9-month-old. But I really hope this video helped. If it did, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more destination wedding videos. I'm so excited to make these for you, and I'm going to try and get better at making them more often. But like I said, if you have a specific question, I would love to make a video for you on that question. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Are you curious about what my destination wedding costs? Check out this video right here, and don't forget, subscribe to my channel.